So we are starting our meeting at 7:03 tonight. And our first agenda item is, well, I call this meeting to order officially at 7:03. And well, we don't have any guests to welcome at this point. And so our next item is the reading and approval of board minutes, which John just sent out.
About an hour ago. Yep. Sorry for being late.
And I haven't had a chance to look at them yet.
They're pretty brief.
Shall we table to next month?
I would move.
But we don't need a
Second.
motion to table it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can table to next month.
Do
Yeah.
you want to table it? Or does everyone?
Up to you guys.
well,
Unless you want to have us to sit here recording us watch and reading agenda
Noted.
notes. Yeah.
Do I have a motion to table the minutes until next month? Table the approval of the minutes until next month.
Yep.
Yeah. Dan motioned. I seconded.
We don't need a motion, really.
All right, we just agree.
Yeah.
All right, motions are tabled. And did everyone? Oh, you know what? I apologize. I bet you didn't get Russell's treasurer reports because I forgot to send them to you because they came through on the new system and yeah, the new email. I'm so sorry. So table those as well. I apologize. I will send them out. But I did get them. Gabe, you're up.
I have a question that's pertinent.
Okay.
Gabe, are we getting our agendas now and treasurer's report and all of this, the minutes and so forth, on our personal email from now on? Or
We'll
not?
address that under new business number 4B.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So as far as the website and social media, it's pretty straightforward. I found a couple things that are outdated, like Brian Yambe not being on their website as the council member for District 5 and some other contacts that came up from something else. So I've updated those contacts on our page, our website rather. And then I think the one thing that Jen wanted up on the our Facebook group, I went in and posted that too for a local update. But other than that, we're smooth. Everything's going good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All going well. One small little bit is I let Angela and Gabe know that Brian Yambe's office via Kimberly Lelly has identified us as a community partner now. And so any sort of news or event that she wants to go out to the community, she is sending to us as a community partner. That hasn't happened very much in the past. Marty didn't use us that way. I don't know if Rick did because he was sort of before my time. So this is a first since I've been around, and I like it. I hope you don't mind the little bit of extra work though, Gabe and Angela.
Usually, didn't Brian? Marty do that himself, or at least his staff did it for him on his Facebook account.
I think so.
Because it's more official to come straight from them than pass through us.
No, she seems to have a list that she uses, and we're on her list.
How do you spell Welly?
Lelli, I believe.
That's correct.
Just a little note. New business. Sheila is not here for a candidate forum update. She has been emailing and checking in, and the last I heard, she had asked for a return phone call. She's made contact, and nobody has returned her contact. So, she's had no response, is what I'm trying to say. So now, let's see if she pops in, and if she does not pop in, well, we'll revisit it. If she does not pop in, we need to figure out what we're going to do if we're not going to go through the League of Women Voters, if we're going to do this on our own or not. So let's circle back to A. And now it brings us to new business B. Gabe.
All right. So as hopefully you all have received the email telling you about the new email address, your username and password, where to go, and how to get logged in so you can actually start making use of it. A tip would be beyond doing that, you can also do the same thing on your phone, but every phone is different, so I'm not going to give you how-to instructions on your individual phones. You add your email account similar to how you add any other email account. It should automatically configure, and then it's a good way for you to get alerts to what's going on inside of the Summit Waller email system for between us, and to get timely information that way. Otherwise, you just obviously log into the website or use Outlook, the application, if that's what you prefer to use, or the website, outlook.com. Going forward from this point, at some point rather, I'll be working with Jen and the rest of the executive team for getting documents uploaded to the actual SharePoint system that's there, so we can have a central repository, so we're not doing this update, forward, change, update, re-forward the email, and then send it again, and then do it again until they're all perfect. We actually just say share the document, and all the updates that are made get pushed live, and then whenever you click that link, it's going to be the live version of it instead of the manual way we're doing it, the old school way of doing it. Will get us into this decade.
Thank
now.
you for all your
Yeah.
work on that.
Question.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your work, Gabe. It's a little learning curve here for me. Basically, question, the treasury reports, the staff report, or the minutes and the agenda, we're not gonna get those sent to us like we used to?
They'll be going to the new email accounts.
Okay. And so I have to make that my email?
But no, you can. I have like 5. I mean, you can have as many emails as you want to take on, but you just log into the email, check it, and then you're good to go. It's not your email. It's just your email for Summit Waller activities.
So I log into it, check it, and then whenever you send out an email, it will come to that email. I'll be able to see it and go with it.
Yeah, anything sent internally will for sure be set there.
Okay.
Yeah, and also the documents will be on a separate portion of the same system, which I'll go into. I'm not going to just overburden everybody with something brand new right now, since we're not trying to do everything in a day.
Yeah, I'll figure it out,
Yeah.
hopefully. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any other questions about the email system as we've got it so far?
Yeah, I tried doing it on my computer, but it wants me to do it on my phone.
Well, it's
Okay.
going to, yeah, it wants to do an authenticator on your phone. Yeah. So multi-factor.
How
It's
have
the
you
way of
done-
the world. We have to be secure. And that's the whole point of us doing this, is so we have a safe place to do it.
Question.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say that I do not own a cell phone.
Well, I don't know if it's proud anymore. That's willful ignorance.
I borrow it from the kids if I need one. Listen.
Yeah.
Do I need to have a cell phone to log into this thing?
Initially, you'll want it, and you'll probably have to maybe, I don't know, someone in your household that you trust, you can do the authenticator, but it's just for the first time. So if somebody else tries to log into it and somehow guesses the password that you create for it, it'll make sure that there's a second factor that prompts and says, hey, somebody's trying to log in your account. Is this okay? And then there's a challenge response question.
Once I use my wife's, one of my kids' cell phones to do the initial, then from then on, I can go on my computer.
As long as it's on the same computer, yes. Any new devices or logins will require that same multi-factor authentication to get in again. Yeah.
Okay, so I will be able to get into the new Summit Waller email system on my desktop.
Yep.
Computer.
Wherever you want to do it. Yep.
Okay.
Desktop or phone. Yep.
Question. With the Outlook on the desktop, do I have to log in every single time I want to switch accounts on Outlook, or can I have a different email open up in different tabs?
It doesn't work in tabs on an Outlook desktop. It would be a just a new account. So on your left side, you'll see all your folders that you have, like inbox, drafts, sent items, and then either above or below, wherever you decide to put it in order, it'd be another mailbox that you can look at down below, and it would merge the little inbox at the very top left that you see in Outlook, the application. It usually merges all inboxes into one view, so you can see everything coming in one spot. And if you want to go individually manage, you just go down to those folders.
See, I see that the way you're describing that is on my phone, but I haven't been able to figure out how to do it on the laptop.
You have the Outlook app. It's probably easier just to use the web interface. You don't have to worry about configuring another app.
Okay, I
Yeah.
will play with that next weekend.
And
Thank
so
you.
because you have a Hotmail address, the little top right icon, that's a circle that usually has either your face if you have a picture or just your initials. You click on that and you can choose between either the Summit Waller account or your Hotmail account and just switch between them and go that way if you want.
Thank you.
Yep.
Welcome, CM Yambe.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey,
So,
Sorry, we had a council meeting that went till 6:30, so I was dashing home to make sure that I could get here, but then I turned out I had the wrong link, but I'm here.
Thank you for being here.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Welcome.
any other questions about the email setup?
Not yet, thank you though.
Cool. All right. That's all
Hey.
I've got.
Thank you so much. It was a long time coming and we did it. Nice. Okay, so CM Yambe, you should now see emails coming from us from our new address at summitwaller.org.
oh,
Oh,
Okay, so
one more thing to add. I failed to add this. So internally, we have a group. I'm not going to say it out loud for the recording. That's internal for the group for just messaging within the board itself. And then I have a public group that would basically forward either to webmaster at, which would go to me, president at, which would go to Jen. I don't think I did any others just because, Jen's our forward-facing person representing the board, and I'm the website person. So those emails automatically come to the respective person.
okay, noted.
And we could create more if you guys want. I just didn't think every person had to have, VP at and then treasurer at and then, I didn't know if that was necessary.
I don't think we get enough email traffic for that.
Yeah, I'd probably end up with more
Yeah.
spam than anything else.
Then you'd have an argument over Larry and Dan over member for over 30 years at.
Yeah, Summit Waller OG. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, gee, old guys.
OG at Summit Waller. Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's
does that
original.
mean
It's
old
old
guy?
guy.
OG2.
It's original
throw Angela
gangster.
in OG3.
Yeah, so
Original
Larry does.
gangster?
Yeah, the old original gangsters. What that means. Yeah.
I thought it meant old geezers.
Then Angela wouldn't fit in. Okay, moving on. New business, letter C, Waller Road School, Freedom of Information Act regarding the school, Dan and Sandy. Sandy, for me, that file would not open on my phone and I never got to it on my laptop. So I haven't had a chance to look at it, although I thank you for getting the work done on it.
It's a huge file. I was going to ask Gabe if there is some way we can place it someplace else for people to get, or else I could put it on a flash drive and send it out to people.
Dan,
Yeah, I
did you
wasn't
get it
able to
open?
get into it either.
Sorry, I was muted because my dogs keep going off in the background here. So I can upload that where you want. It's a zip file right now. I actually haven't downloaded it myself and opened it. So I don't know what's in there.
It's all the environmental reports from the different schools. And just a couple days ago, I got the budgets, but I haven't sent those out yet. I was going to do that tomorrow.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, you're right. I see what you're talking about. Be
Do
careful
we
what you
want to
ask
come
for, right?
back to this in October?
What was that, Jen?
Do we want to come back and revisit this in October?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, we have time.
Is that our live meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Then I can bring copies of it for everybody on either a CD or a flash drive.
All right.
I have a couple comments on that. Larry and I have been talking about this at some length, and we're talking about maybe going to a board meeting and discussing this information after we educate ourselves on the issues, the facts. Also, my understanding, Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a new director, superintendent, or coming online with the Puyallup School District soon, I believe. And then thirdly, the most important part, out of this voluminous document that you found, what I'm looking for is specifically the justification, the engineering report that says that Waller Road has to be replaced on environmental or, engineering factors. That's what I'm looking for. And out of the entire bit of information that you have, it may be a small piece, and that's what I'm looking to find somehow, somewhere. That's all.
Just to add to that, there is supposedly a committee that is going to study the situation with schools, including Waller Road, and have a recommendation for the Puyallup School Board in January. And so we'll want to provide our input before January. Well, before they wrap up the report, it will probably be wrapped up in December. So we've got a couple of months to provide input. And I guess, in the back of our minds, we have to consider the possibility we're going to have to get tough with the Puyallup School District. And what are we willing to do to keep Waller Road open until they pass a bond that replaces it?
Well, they may not pass the bond unless they have our support. I mean, our community is widespread, and Waller Road is kind of an epic part of our community, iconic part of our community, and I think they would be hard pressed to pass any bond or levy if they tried to exclude Waller Road. Let me say this. Yeah, I understand in January they're gonna have a meeting. I would like to get my hands a hold of that specific document that relates to any justification on environmental or specifically engineering grounds that Waller Road has to be replaced. I want to see that document. And I'm not really good at ferreting through the internet or the computer to find it. If somebody could put it in my hands, I'd be very grateful.
But I asked for what you guys had asked for, and so it should be in the massive file they sent us. I just haven't had time to look through it.
Yeah, I haven't been able to access the file. If somebody could get that document or direct me to where it's located in the file, I would be very grateful, because if we talk to this committee, we need to talk with some intelligence and say, hey, look, here's the report. It says this, but is that really true?
Well, just to add to that, there was a bit of explanation at the open house that my wife and I went to well before the vote. And in talking with the two gentlemen that were in charge of the bond, the indication was that Waller Road was an old school. Its heating and cooling systems and a lot of electrical were out of date. It needed to be either remodeled totally or torn down and a new school built. And the cost of building a new school was about equal to what it would cost to do a complete remodel on an old school that's been added on to. So those are the reasons that were given to me by these two gentlemen at that open house. Now, I would also like to see what is in the documents to outline specifically what it is that's wrong with Waller Road School, that it needs to be torn down and a new one built. I think that just the sheer observer driving along 64th or Waller Road would come to the conclusion, yeah, that school needs something done. So, and for safety reasons, also, the new school would be built a little farther back, a little bit. It would be an L-shaped building. I think you all saw the diagrams of the new proposed single-story school that would replace Waller Road Elementary. But the bottom line is, our community just cannot afford to have another elementary school in our rural separator area. closed down.
So what I am getting out of this conversation is that we have a massive document that cannot be opened at this point in time on some people's computers. Have you tried to open
Yeah, I
it,
couldn't
Dan?
do it.
Okay,
Can you
so
try?
I can speak to that.
Okay.
So while you guys were talking, I was actually extracting it, and I just uploaded it to our SharePoint inside of your new email addresses. You all will have a link in there to go to the documents and be able to read them. They're all
Okay.
PDF documents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
That I was worried that our next meeting we wouldn't get it very far in finding the information that is specific to what we've just been talking about if we're trying to get into that document at our next meeting. So thank you, Gabe. That answers that.
Yeah,
And
that
Saul.
was, well, that was pretty quick work there, Gabe, I must tell you. 30 seconds, wow. Anyway,
There are a total of 11 PDF documents inside that folder, just so you know.
okay, I'll try to find them.
All right, so we'll do our homework and work on that, and then reconvene on this topic in October in person at the MCCC.
Final comment on what you made, Jen.
Sandy has a question.
Okay, Sandy.
Sorry.
Can I send you the budgets that I received for the 3 schools so they can be uploaded as well?
Yeah. For now, I'll show you guys how to deal with uploading them to the SharePoint repository soon. But yeah, go ahead and send it to me for now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah, my comment is that I'm not trying to ultimately prevent the existing Waller Road School from being replaced. I'm saying that it doesn't need to be replaced until we're able to pass a bond issue for a new school. I would not want them just to get rid of Waller Road School and to start putting kids over to Fruitland or wherever and overcrowd those schools, and they're already having problems there as it is. They can continue, that school's been through a number of earthquakes. It's still standing, it's a good school. They can leave it there until they pass a bond issue next year or 5 years from now. They don't need to tear it down and pull it out of our community. Larry, I think you agree with that, don't you?
I do.
Okay.
That's all, thank you.
The Puyallup School District needs to have a clear message that it would not be in their best interest to close down the school and demo it without first having a bond passed to replace it.
Well, they won't pass a bond issue if they tear it down. That's the way I look at it.
Right. And the surrounding schools are all pretty much at capacity, so yeah, it would be difficult for the Puyallup School District to figure out where to send Waller Road students.
We need to talk to you, Larry.
Yeah, we do.
So the next agenda item is 64th and Waller, improving the road for active transportation. And I watched I watched the video of the last meeting, and you briefed upon it, Dan. I saw that you took the response there. So since then, or maybe you just didn't have this updated. So Larry Levine got word of what we were doing, and he kind of fast tracked us. I think at the last meeting, what I remember Dan is saying is, I think Sheila was going to write a letter. That was the plan. Sheila was going to write a letter, but Larry Levine jumped all of us through to Sean Phelps, who's the senior transportation planner, and he and then he met with David Davis. He's come to a few of our community meetings, and so they are going to work with coordinating with the city of Tacoma to match the road reconstruction that's part of the culvert replacement with the city street design. And so this project that we have doesn't need Sheila's letter at this point. It's off and moving. It's all in their right hands, and they are they said they said thank you to us for pointing something out that would look very doable, but they would have never done it necessarily without community input. and because it didn't really come to their attention. So I got it. Sean Phelps wrote a note to me saying that, that thank you, that it takes advocates like us and Larry to get potential projects on their radar. And so I'm feeling pretty pumped about this. Just that
So what was the request that we had them look at specifically?
The request is to promote active transportation, and when the culvert replacement and the road redo gets done, that they have some sort of a. Now he wrote down match, but we already discussed that it couldn't be a precise match because of the layout of the bridge and the canyon and everything. That there need to be some special design. That's what Dan and Sheila and Jennifer Dvorak and I walked out and looked at. But that's semantics because they will figure that out when they go and look at it. The point mainly is that they are going to see if they can add a safety component for bicyclists and pedestrians to access Swan Creek Park along the 64th Street route from Waller to the Pipeline Trail. And that it's
So
on their radar.
Outside the city limits.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we've got their attention. That is clear. And they may be making a bunch of assumptions as to what we as a community would like to see happen. I've heard talk.
It's on their I think it's on their radar. They can't get very far right now because there's a lot of coordinating pieces, but the culvert replacement is a priority. It's a priority for the tribe and the state of Washington. And so I think it's second. If I can't remember the email that said which place it was, but I want to say it's second place in the priority list of culvert replacements. So it's going to happen in the near future. And then it would just be a matter of when they have to redo that road that they design it with an active safety safety component for active transportation, which is it's a doable thing. It's not a huge ask. And then it provides, for our area kids and users and anyone who wants to use, it provides us with safe access to the park system, the East Side Center, the East Side community, all of that.
Can I throw a little fly into the ointment here? As you all know, the county has just approved a conservation futures budget of $900,000 to acquire the 13 acres located in the northwest quadrant of 72nd Waller Road, that triangle-shaped piece of property by Dee Dee's grocery store.
Right. Do you want to? Are you just making a comment, or do you want to actually jump to F? Jump over the letter E to F and talk about that.
Oh, I don't have the agenda in front of me, so yeah, I can wait. Sure, thank you.
Okay.
I don't have an agenda.
Okay. So that's letter F on the agenda. So is there that's all I had to say about D, is that we have the county's attention. We have the senior planners. They're working toward getting this project done. And, we have the support of our councilmen as well. So that's also helpful.
Yeah, thank you for that.
I'll just keep the updates coming.
Okay.
Was there anything else from anybody else? Okay, then Larry, letter E is the area road work.
Yeah.
And you sent, yeah.
Yeah, I did send everybody on their old email system. Hopefully next month everything will be on the new system. And an explanation as to why they on 80th and 84th around Orange Gate Park, and on 84th all the way to Waller Road, on 80th from Canyon Road to Vickery, why didn't they just put down another chip seal? And instead they put a thick overlay of asphalt which created rather severe drop-offs in certain areas. And now even today, they're still out there trying to put material along the side of the roads, and that will continue for a few more weeks, I'm sure, as they acquire more recycled asphalt. But I wanted an explanation as to why the overlay instead of just another chip seal. And working through Brian Yamby's office, thank you very much. We were able to get an answer, and I emailed that answer to you, but I'll just briefly summarize. Both of the roads in our area were experiencing heavy flushing, and that's where oil from previous chip seals rises to the surface. And if you put a new layer of chip seal over, it makes the problem worse. So to address that issue, they had to come through and put a thick layer of overlay asphalt on top of it, bring in material to smooth the shoulder of the roads, taper off. Like in front of my house, there was a 10-inch drop into where I park cars on gravel. And they came through and kind of feathered that out. And then I brought in a little more gravel. So it's okay. On the Orange Gate side, it's a more severe drop off, and they've come in and alleviate that a little bit. But the plan is in 2026 to come through with a chip seal. So they'll put a chip seal over this overlay, and that should solve the problem, the total problem of the flushing for years to come.
Thank you, Larry.
And as you've noticed, they've been chip sealing in our area and other streets as well. So that's the explanation. The only thing I have is around the streets around 80th and 84th, as it borders Orange Gate, there's still quite a drop off. I'm wondering if they, especially on 80th, I'm wondering if they can come in and put even a little more recycled asphalt to make the drop off ditch less severe.
If I could, oh, Jen's computer just went off again. So on Facebook, there was a comment about that and wondering why they're going to do this when they're about ready to move some heavy equipment out and to start working on the park. Of course, that caused some, feathers to get ruffled inside the community. It's like, oh, it's Pierce County wasting money. But hearing that explanation makes a lot more sense. They have to do this regardless of that going on. Okay.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with the development of the Orange Gate Park itself.
Right.
What's next on the agenda?
Who
Let's see.
has an agenda?
Yeah, I've got it here. I've got it up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
she's
don't know
back.
what you said for that 1 minute that I was gone, but I wanted to go back to tail off of what Larry was saying. They also went and did road work on Vickery, from 72nd down to 48th, and then up 48th to the bridge, and then down from 48th up 36th to match up with 64th, and then they did 64th as well. So that whole square area where that's actually my running route that they redid. And they also left a big ledge that they didn't feather out as well. And they also left tons of gravel, even though they had gone through sweeping. And I put in a complaint through the county, and they came through and they re-swept the gravel, but they've done nothing for the edge from the road to the shoulder. So now I'm running down the middle of the road and making everyone go around me because I don't want to turn my ankle. I don't want to, any quick motion, if I turn my head and then miss that edge and go, I'm going to go down. And so they haven't responded. They said I did a double request instead of 2 single requests. So they responded back that they went through to sweep, but they didn't respond that they did anything about the shoulder, and they closed the case. So I don't know if I should recomplain or whether you could do something, Brian, or
Um, I would advise you, first of all, keep complaining, and then I can jump in because I think Angie would agree that some of these systems are complaint based, that if we keep hearing about it, then it stays on the must look at and keep observing. So I'll do what I can, but then I'll say, hey, if you check in the queue that there's some complaints from, neighbors and things like that. So then I have some more ammo to use.
all right, thank you.
Yep. Forgive the
So,
metaphor. It's been a long day.
now we're to F. Pierce Conservation Corps Land Preservation off of Waller Road. Larry, Dan, did you want to rock, paper, scissors? Oh, Larry's off.
Well, all I will say is that.
Dan, go ahead.
May I talk?
Yes.
Thank you. That 13 acres is being acquired by the county through Conservation Futures. And Angela pointed out that the Didi's little gas station there on the corner is not going to be included in that, which is kind of, I wish it would be, because that was a nice little corner. But the rest of it is going to be potentially, I would assume, for parking as potentially a trailhead for the pipeline trail. That's an assumption on my part. And also it's going to be apparently for bicycle motocross. As you recall, back down on 50th and Waller Road, they wanted to put one in the county gravel pit, and we convinced them apparently not to do that. And now I guess they're going to place it up there at 72nd, which I don't see an issue with that. The point I'm trying to make is that we're concerned about, from our community's perspective, getting access to the pipeline trail. We've talked about having access via 64th Street. I'm pointing out now that you might be able just to drive up to 72nd and Waller and park your car and access the trail system that way too also, which is interesting.
So Larry Levine wrote me today. Actually, he didn't really write me. He was writing, he was writing me and Jennifer Dvorak, who is a board member with Forever Green Trails. So that's why she's included on that. And she responded, and I was copied off the responses. And so Larry Levine said that he learned a little bit from parks staff about the intended use of the new property should they successfully acquire it. And they envision a passive recreation area to the north, near to the closer to the nearby residences, potentially including walking trails and a disc golf course, and active use to the south toward the intersection, potentially including a BMX racetrack. There is currently a BMX track in Pierce County near Sumner, but it's located in a floodplain and cannot be improved. And then he has some thoughts about the BMX track, and ultimately said the disc golf course would be free and open to the public and retain and benefit from the challenge, more natural vegetation and more natural setting, as opposed to developing a BMX track. And then Jennifer's response was she thinks that we should gauge the community and get their input before we write what we support as a community. Like not just her, not just Larry, not just our community, but that we get a feel for what Summit Waller residents want.
Right.
Which
If
I
I
agree
could,
with.
may I say something, Jen?
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest that we put that on next month's agenda, and that would be a continual talking issue in our meetings going forward, because I think we need to find some kind of a proposal. For me particularly, my thought is this: that is an excellent trailhead for Pipeline Trail. I mean, where else is there a trailhead? You got one in Orange Gate. You have one potentially over in Tacoma at the Swan Creek. But for our community, the only real safe parkable trailhead is this 72nd wall of the road. The idea of having a disc golf, I like that idea. It's more of a passive use, which would kind of dovetail into the natural area further to the north. As far as a BMX, I don't know if it has enough room for that. If you take a look at what it would involve, it would probably take the whole 13 acres, and I don't think that's really doable. But anyway, this is just, let's get it on the table and talk about it.
I agree.
If you would like to talk to the Pierce County Park, well, she's now at the Office of Resilience and Climate, something or other, Office of Climate and Resilience Adaptation or something like that. They're called ORCA now. It's the Sustainability Division. If you're interested in having her come to one of our meetings and talk about that property specifically, I could reach out to her and invite her to see if she could make the October meeting.
I would personally like to see that. I have some questions.
Okay.
I love that.
Okay, I will. Her name is Chris Chapeau. I will put that on my list of things to do this week.
Angela, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What is her relation and job connection to this property? How is she involved potentially with that property?
Well, she was the one that was at council. She's the one that prepared the the application, all the information for it, and she is the Conservation Futures Program Manager at Pierce County.
Is she in a position that would make a recommendation as to how it's going to be, the property is going to be used?
Potentially, yeah. I think if she, because I caught her ear after the council meeting last week that I happened to be at the same time that she was at, because she was there for one thing, I was there for something else. We talked in the hallway and on the elevator out, and I think I was kind of in her ear saying, well, whatever happens, Summit Waller Community Association would love to, have a opportunity to learn more and also potentially participate in shaping what it looks like. So I'll let her know. I'll see if she can come to the next October meeting. I won't be here in October, but I will see if she can make it.
Here's
That'd be wonderful.
here's a very strong point I want to make. The only reason that triangle shaped piece of property was ever ranked or approved for conservation futures is only for one reason. It's adjacent to the pipeline trail. If that property would have been out, it's not a very attractive piece of property. There's no old growth fir on it or streams or anything to speak of. If that would have been out far and removed from any pipeline trail, I would suspect it never would have been approved. It just wouldn't have been. It's next to, no, it just wouldn't have been approved in my opinion. The fact that it's next to the pipeline trail, really, I think that needs to be the main context that we look at. It needs to be, I think, a trailhead. And,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of the thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, we had both talked about that. I said, that's a perfect spot for a trailhead. We get all kinds of complaints and questions about, well, where do I park? You either have to go to Orange Gate or you have to go somewhere, Swan Creek or somewhere in between. And she agreed with that. The other thing too is that last year, council, I don't know if it was some sort of ordinance or resolution, they had decided that acquiring parcels with conservation futures money in the urban growth boundary was a preference to kind of help with not just developing everything, but have some open spaces and have some of those active recreation and passive recreation activities within the UGA, which and this parcel is just within the UGA, or well, it's in the UGA, but rural separator, but which is a little different than some of the other parcels that they were looking at.
It's not within the UGA though.
No,
Oh,
It's about 1,000, 2,000 feet from the UGA, but that's neither here nor there.
sure.
there's no UGA in our area coming from Tacoma. There is a UGA area coming our way from Puyallup up to Woodland, but the rural separator is in between, and it is close to two urban areas. And this 13 acres is important to keep as open space. 72nd and Waller Road is the gateway to our community, and as Angela pointed out, a great site for a new trailhead on the Pipeline Trail, which is right next to it.
And it does border essentially the UGA, so I understand what Angela's saying.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't border the UGA. It borders the city limits of Tacoma.
Well, that's true. I understand. I know what you're saying, Larry. It doesn't border the city of Tacoma. It's
Well,
close.
it's real close.
All I have.
Well, I will publicly also thank our councilman for sponsoring the vote on that. And it was a close vote. So we appreciate him looking out for things that are of our area interest, open space, all of it. Larry?
It was a 4-3 vote. I'm trying to figure out why the three voted against it.
Yeah, I was curious about
Yeah,
that
I
too.
think I can speak to
Larry,
that.
Go ahead, Larry.
Angela, you were at that meeting. I don't know if you were there during that discussion. I watched it on replay, and the main concern from the Republican side was money like that could have been better spent dealing with affordable housing. I believe was, but I was surprised that the vote was that close and along party lines, which concerns me. Uh, uh, I would like to point out that I think that Terry Wise and Brian Yamby's race this fall is a key, pivotal race that can either positively affect our area or possibly negatively affect the Summit Waller area. I think it's the most important. I think it's the most important Pierce County Council race this year.
Well, let's don't put anybody on the spot.
I'm not going to say anything about that, but I will say that it was a little frustrating how it was these issues, in my opinion, should not be partisan. I think that there was the public reasons why uh, the vote on the minority end went the way that it did doesn't quite match up. They claim that, for example, one project on the list that they were concerned, Councilmember Kruger, there was a project in her district she did not like. And then Councilmember Morrell was basically arguing about affordable housing. If the goal is to have affordable housing, why did we go with PLU's project to allow them to have some open space on their campus to really kind of do some prairie restoration and some down the line once the urban growth area has more residents and things in Parkland that some of us think that there's going to be it's going to be nice to have open spaces and some areas for people to recreate even if it's passive, and so it really shouldn't have turned out the way it did. But even if let's say to you all that you know how I feel. So if there was a project in the Summit Waller area that that I had to fight for, I would do it. And if they didn't put it even in my colleagues here, I'd fight kicking and screaming in order to make sure that we got it considered and put on the list of priorities, because this one was a very easy one, an easy call. And I'm sorry that I couldn't convince any of my other colleagues to support it, to make sure that we didn't have just a one vote thread. But I'm glad that it passed the way that it did, and I'll continue to advocate for whatever I can to make sure that all of our priorities are heard. It's a real interesting time to be in government. I'll say that. So. But appreciate the letter of support was helpful because it gave me an additional, tool to say, hey, this is not just, me, but, this is a needed and supported project that we need to give strong consideration to. So I think that was helpful.
You might want
So
to
Larry. Yeah.
might want to
Go ahead,
remind
Dan.
them that conservation futures, it cannot be allocated to housing.
Right.
It's a different bucket of funds.
Oh, and I have to say that you all are very fortunate that Angie is in the position that she is, because even though she doesn't necessarily do the the full frontal diplomacy and giving people reading the riot act, that just having somebody in there is really helpful in navigating some of these difficult spaces and providing an additional voice in some of these conversations, and it's really nice so that when there's some tough vote or something, that I look over at her and I can do an eye roll, and she doesn't report me for it because sometimes it's frustrating sometimes, but I'm glad that we can do this, and keep me posted if there's any other projects that I need to be supporting and aware of. So always happy to help.
Thank you. Go Angela. Thank you so much. All right. Area concerns and monitoring. So by now you probably are aware that the 72nd Street and Pacific Avenue Fred Meyer closed. And while that's out of the Summit Waller rural separator zone, it's still one of the largest places where people from this area shop, and it's the only full service store around in our local area. It's the closest one. So the other alternative is to go to Puyallup, which some of us, we have that sort of transportation and we're able to shoot down to Puyallup, or to Target. Some of us have those choices. The 72nd and Pacific Fred Meyer store is on the bus line for Pacific Avenue and 72nd. So people without transportation in our area are able to access the store with the bus. And I think there's also some area shuttles that head out there as well. And so it's a big loss. And because it was a big loss, they held a community meeting last Thursday evening off of 72nd Street at, I can't remember the name of the location, but Brian would know. And he went to represent his constituents in that area. And I also went. They tried to run the meeting well. They tried to plan it well, and then it didn't go as well as it could have. But that's not really worth taking up video time here. What I got out of the meeting, and maybe CM Yambe got something else out of it, or more than I, is that the bottom line seemed to be that neighbors are really upset at the short notice. It was a little bit of, it was a huge, it's a huge deal to lose that type of a shopping center in our neighborhood. And they had such short notice, and it really threw people for a loop. And that people are angry because they see that the crime, the homelessness, the doing the drugs, the lack of a police presence in the area. One lady really called out the city of Tacoma. She called out the mayor. She called out the city representative. She called out the police department for not really getting on this. And people applauded her more than anyone else in the room. Another guy later seconded all of that, and they also applauded him. So it was really easy to read the room and how people feel about the way that Fred Meyers was seen, and that the store left possibly due to some of those issues. And I don't know, that was one of the unanswered questions. They had lots of unanswered questions, and that was a big one. Like, what specifically caused them to leave, or what were the main factors that caused them to leave? And that was never aired out. So people just see it as a huge problem with theft and the lack of policing, and that's what they're blaming it on. In the meantime, if I understood correctly, Fred Meyer also signed a 25-year lease with the people that own the property and who are located in Florida, or the corporation that owns the property, and they're only 5 years into that 25-year lease. And so, unless somebody can find a way to get the lease to be broken so that something else can move into the area, and unless the area's problems are fixed so that someone would be willing to move into that area, we have a problem. And I see Larry's hands up, and I'm done. So that's all I have. Larry.
Yeah, I might be able to shed the light on that issue. My wife was at the Safeway store at Portland and 72nd today, and they're now starting to check. But as you are leaving the store, the Safeway store, 72nd in Portland, you have to show them now your receipt, and they look over what you've purchased and sign off on before, just like Costco does on the way out. And my wife asked, why are they doing that? And she said, or the person said, we don't want to end up like Fred Meyer. So that theft issue is a major factor, and other stores in the area are concerned about theft from their stores, to the point where Safeway is checking your receipt on the way out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've talked with management at Safeway and Canyon as well, and they say the Portland Avenue is one of the worst stores, and managers have to go do a stint in that store as part of their growth their growth experience to see what that store is like. So that is a very special case.
Which store are you talking? You mean Fred Meyer Pacific?
Yes.
Okay.
John, what store were you talking about?
I was talking about Safeway at Portland and 72nd.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I learned the information from the Canyon Road store where I usually go. So yeah.
So as I understand it, our councilman and other county, again, it's in Tacoma city limits, but it affects county constituents. So their hands are a little bit tied in some ways, but we're their constituents, and we're a big portion of the shopping base as well. And same with Summit Waller. We're in the rural separator, we're county, but that's one of our places we go. That's where you get not just your groceries, but your medicines. You're doing your money transfers, you're getting gifts. They have the nursery, they have the sporting goods section, paint. It was just an all around great store to have. And now we have nothing close by for a lot of people. So I don't know how we want to weigh in as a board for any future uses, or how we can support the process. And maybe that's something you can think about, councilman, and see how we can be of service, if we can do anything. And then we'll just kind of keep this on the agenda, and if you can come up with anything for us, we can see what we can do. And we can also think about it as well, and keep talking to people and see what we can identify as some solutions or whatnot.
Isn't the Fred Meyer store at 72nd and Pacific supposed to close this month sometime?
September 27th.
Mm-hmm.
When?
September 27th.
Okay. And they're still stuck with a 25-year lease? Is that my understanding?
That was my understanding. Is that what you got, Brian? That they have 20 more years on it?
Yeah, and there was some speculation on, that they arranged a 25-year lease with this outfit out of Florida who has maybe 20 something Fred Meyer locations under their holdings. And so it's not exactly clear who owns this holding company, but they were 5 years into this 25-year renegotiated lease.
They should probably renegotiate it again and get it lowered down. That could be a potential outcome. I mean, who knows?
Probably they would have to be open to somebody else taking over the lease and
Would
renegotiating it.
possibly be able to use that store, except another Fred Meyer type store. I don't know.
Or not. The community also has some ideas, so that could be people who spoke had some additional ideas. So that's just another, another solution,
Right.
another possibility. Larry.
Yeah, another factor here is that, Kroger which owns Fred Meyer's and Albertson Safeway, were going to merge, and that didn't go through. They were blaming each other for that failure. Now they're suing each other. So I think their
Blame
bottom
Bob
line is,
Ferguson.
I'm sorry.
Blame Bob Ferguson.
Oh, I think I'm going to blame Fred Meyer's. If Fred Meyer's is closing their own stores, I'm blaming Fred Meyer.
Well, yeah, but Bob Ferguson was key in blocking that deal.
Blocking the merger of Albertsons.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a good thing to do? I'm just curious. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it
thought
doesn't
it
look
was
like it now, does it?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
closing all over the country,
Unintended
like 60 stores. Yeah. No, anyway, just my point of view.
Okay.
Okay, news and announcements.
Hey, before we go there, can I ask a question? I'm confused about, we went from the 10 acres off Waller Road to Maxine selling the property. So are those really the same issue? 5A and 4F?
Wait a minute. I took Maxine off because I was told that you discussed it in executive session, and
Oh,
that
okay. Okay, so
so
I'm
on
looking at
the
an old agenda. Okay,
you're looking
got
at
it.
the old agenda, yes. And so I
Okay.
didn't add it back on. I'd love to hear privately what you discussed last time, but if you were in executive session, it's probably not okay for me
Right.
to ask.
It wasn't much of anything. So okay.
Okay, so now so Fred Meyer was 5A. There's no Maxine on there, and
Got it.
now
Okay.
it's 6 news announcements. Is there anything that anyone has? All right, then we move to 7, which would be adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn for the evening? I don't see. Am I seeing
That was-
any hands? I can't.
That was Dan.
It was Dan. Thank you. Sorry. Okay. Is there a second? Dan has moved. Is there a second? Okay,
Second.
seconds. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No, the ayes have it, and we are adjourning at 8:07.